pranams to all the devotees. Thank you all very much for joining in for our study session today. We are studying teachings of Lord Chaitanya today. Very, very interesting chapter. The Atma Rama verse, as explained by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sarvam Bhattacharya. Okay? So this is a very wonderful description of the Atma Rama verse by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. So let's quickly go ahead with the chapter number 15 of teaching to Lord Chaitanya, but we start with the prayers. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradhayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura-dishe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So, Dandavat Pranams to all the devotees. Welcome you all again for our TLC session today. So, today we want to discuss about what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was explaining about the Atma Rama verse. So, this is all the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami. So, even this particular explanation of the Atma Rama verse. Atma Rama means one who is self-satisfied, one who is completely satisfied within oneself. Right? Atma Rama verse. The Lord is Atmaram. The Lord is completely satisfied in himself. The Lord does not need anyone from outside to actually satisfy himself, right? When he wants to create the world, he simply needs to glance at Rama Devi, and this material world is entirely created. So whenever the Lord wants something, when he just needs to meditate or he just needs to think about it, right? As soon as he thinks about something that has to manifest, that thing automatically manifested that is automatically manifests by the internal pleasure potency of the Lord. That's why the Lord need not is not dependent on anyone else for his happiness. Whereas, right, when the Lord wants to enjoy, he from his own internal potency is Srimati Radharani. So Srimati Radharani and Krishna become two different personalities and they enjoy. And then whenever they want, they combine together to become Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in this way, the Lord is complete. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Darchyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Right? The Lord is complete and everything about the Lord is also complete. And whenever the Lord expands, right? The Lord creates this material world. The Lord expands into various forms like Garbhadakashaya Vishnu, Sharidakashaya Vishnu, Karanadakashaya Vishnu. But all these forms of the Lord are also complete. And even though these forms have emanated out of the Lord still remains complete. And even the material universe is created with the Lord. They are also complete because the Lord, who is the origin or who is the source of all of these material and spiritual worlds, is also complete. So this Atma Rama verse is described by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami, right? To Sarvam Bhattacharya, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya actually glorifies the Ganga, right? And in that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually, tells Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya that in this particular verse, he explains it. He's a great scholar. He explains it in different ways. And then after hearing everything, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells in this particular verse, right? You mentioned Bhavani Bhartu. That means the husband of Lord Shiva. I mean, husband of Mother Parvati. That means you're saying that Parvati has some one more husband. Right? So in that way, that is a different discussion that we will come later in this book itself. The details will be there for us to discuss. But today, whatever we are discussing is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings to Sanatana Goswami about the explanation of Atma Rama verse. So we're starting with the study of chapter number 15 of teachings of Lord Chaitanya. So devotees can raise your hands and then we'll quickly start studying. Yeah, let me share my screen. Okay. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanyam Ishwaram Harihi Om Tat Sat Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadaliye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. All right. Sridhar Prabhu, go ahead. Explanation of the Atma Rama verse in Srimad
Hare Krishna. Dandot Pranam Mataji.
15. Dandavats Prabhu. Yes, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Lord Chaitanya next explained to Sanatana Goswami a very famous verse known as the Atma Rama verse, Srimad Bhagavatam 1.7.10. Atma Rama cha munayo nirgadda ap ugrame kurvanti ahatikum bhaktim itam bhukta guno hari. The general meaning of this verse is that those who are liberated soul and are fully satisfied within themselves will eventually become devotee of the Lord. This especially describes the impersonalities who have no information of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They try to remain satisfied with the impersonal Brahman, but Krishna is so attractive and so strong that he attracts their minds. This is the purport of this verse. Lord Chaitanya has previously explained this verse to the great Vedanashit Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Sanatana Goswami, after taking lesson from Lord Chaitanya, referred to this incident and prayed to the Lord to again explain the Atmarama verse. Srila Krishnadasa Kaviraja, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, appreciating the Lord's explanation of the Atmarama verse, has glorified Lord Chaitanya in a prayer. Sanatana Goswami fell flat at the feet of Lord Chaitanya and requested him to explain the verse as he had formally explained to the Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Sanatana expressed his eagerness to hear the same explanation in order that he might be enlightened. When the Lord was thus requested by Sanatana, he replied, I do not understand why Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya so much appreciated my explanation. As far as I concern, I do not even remember what I said to him. But because you are asking this of me, with the help of your association, I shall try to explain whatever I can remember. Thus, the speaker and the audience are very intimately concerned. The speaker is enlightened by the presence of the audience. The speaker or the master can speak very nicely or transcendental subject matter before an understanding audience. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya said that he did not know how to explain the Sanskrit verse, but since he was in the association of Sanatana, he would try to explain it.
Hare Krishna. Oh, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandot Pranam Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So here Sanatana Goswami is actually asking Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to explain this beautiful verse, right? Atma Ramas Chamunayo Nirgranta Api Urukrame Kurvanti Ahetukim Bhaktim Ittam Bhuta Gunu Harihi. Right? This actually talks about the three levels of understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is understood in three phases: Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti, Shabdyate. So our Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya also was an impersonalist. Right? And in association with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually explained this Atma Rama verse as well as Sarva Bhattacharya himself, according to his scholarly understanding, he explained that verse about the Ganges, glorifying the Ganga, right? In that also, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was able to find some fault, then he actually understood that this can only be the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is able to defeat him in scholarship, because Sarva Bhattacharya was a was a very learned Sanskrit scholar, and he used to compose so many prayers and glorification of Ganges, like that. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually defeated him in that way, Sarvam Bhattacharya actually got converted into personal realization, into understanding that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is indeed a person, and impersonal Brahman is the lower level understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? And the form of Krishna is so attractive that it attracts the minds of all the devotees, that the devotees are no longer interested in actually merging with the impersonal Brahman of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this was explained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sarvam Bhattacharya, and Sanatana Goswami knew this. So Sanatana Goswami is asking Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? Can you please explain it to me? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in all humility, right? He is the Supreme Lord, right? The entire verses of Bhagavad Gita was actually spoken by him. He is the same Lord Krishna, right? And he is the, Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivishto Mata Smriti Jnanam Apohanam Cha. It is the same Lord Krishna who tells in Bhagavad Gita, I am the one who gives knowledge. I am the one who gives remembrance. I am the one who gives forgetfulness. The same Lord Krishna, who's now appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is telling Sanatana Goswami, I don't know how to explain. I don't know what to explain to Sarva Bhattacharya. Why? Because he's in the mood of a devotee. A devotee never tells, right? Krishna will tell, right? I am the, aham sarvasya prabho, matta sarvam pravartate, iti matva bhajante ma buddha bhava samanvitaha, right? Everything emanates from me. I am the source of the material and the spiritual worlds, right? The people who know this worship me, right? And then he tells, mata smriti jnanam apohanam cha, I give the remembrance, knowledge by which you can come back to me, right? That is Krishna in the enjoyer mood. That is Krishna in the Ishvara mood. Whereas Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in the mood of a devotee. He is the same Lord Krishna, but he is taken the mood of Srimati Radharani. And when the Lord himself comes as a devotee, then this is the mood of a devotee. The Lord is telling us how a devotee will behave, right? Even though the devotee may have full, complete understanding, right? A person is not supposed to act very smart in front of one's Siksha Gurus or in front of one's Diksha Guru. It is better to take a humble position and let the, and even Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also says, and Prabhupada also says, it is best to always be a fool in front of one's gurus, right? That is the best position, because then only we can understand from the gurus. If we try to show that we know so many things in front of our gurus, then our gurus will not be inclined to teach us, isn't it? If we think that we know everything, then what will we learn? Right? So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching us the mood of a devotee. What is the mood of a devotee? A devotee may be well enlightened, well read, well knowing the Shastras, right? And their application, and very knowledgeable, and can speak elaborately for hours explaining the Shastras, right? Yet a devotee takes a humble position. A devotee never says, I know everything, right? A devotee always says, I don't know. It is only because of the association of the audience, right? Who are so inquisitive, who are so intimately connected, who are so eager to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is empowering me to help you understand. In this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling Sanatana Goswami, because you are so eager, and because I am in your association, I will try to explain this. This is not that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does not know. That is not the fact. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking in the mode of humility, depicting what should be the attitude of a devotee, even though one may be very learned in the Shastras. All right, let's move ahead. How is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explaining this wonderful verse? Okay, Karpakavalli Mataji, go ahead. The Lord then went on to point out.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
The Lord then went on to point out that there are 11 words in the Atmarama words. 1 Atmarama, 2 Cha, 3 Munayaha, 4 Nirgantaha, 5 Abhi, 6 Urukrame, 7 Kuruvanti, 8 Ahitvikam, 9 Bhaktikam, Bhaktim,
Bhakti.
10 Bhaktim, 10 Itiham Buddha Guna, and 11 Harihi. The Lord then began to explain each and every one of these words. As far as the word Atmarama is concerned, the Lord explained that the word Atma means this supreme absolute truth, the body, the mind, the endeavor, the intelligence, conviction, nature. The word Arama means enjoyer. Therefore, anyone who takes pleasure in the cultivation of the knowledge of these 7 items is known as an Atmarama. Later, the Lord would describe the different kinds of Atmaramas or transcendentalists. As far as the word Munaya or Muni, those who are great thinkers are called Munis. Sometimes the word Muni is also applied to a person who is very great. Great sages, great austere persons, great mystics, and learned scholars are also called Munis. Shall I continue, Mataji?
Yeah, go ahead.
The next word, Nirganta, indicates freedom from the bondage of illusion. Nirgranta also means one who has no connection with the scriptural injunctions. Grantha means revealed scriptures, and Nir is an affix which is used to mean no connection, constructing, and also prohibiting. There are many instructions for spiritual realization, and persons who have no connection with such scriptural injunctions are known as Nirganta. There are many people who are foolish, low-born, and misbehaved, and who have no entrance into the revealed scriptures and injunctions, and therefore they are called Nirgrantha. Because the word Grantha can also mean collected riches, the word Nirgrantha also indicates a poor man befit all riches who is attempting to collect riches. The word
Hare Krishna. Thank
Purkrama.
you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Oh, thank you, Mataji. Nadatma.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Mm.
So very, very beautifully, if you see Atmarama Cha Munayaha Nirgrantaha, the 4 words. Already Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining word by word, right? Prabhupada generally in this particular, if you look at this Bhagavatam verse, Prabhupada has also given the synonyms, the word to word meaning of these individual words, right? Atmarama Cha Munayaha, like that. So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also giving word by word meaning to Sanatana Goswami. So what does he say? Atma Rama. Atma means even in Bhagavatam, in several places, even in Bhagavad Gita for that reason, right? Krishna also uses the word Atma. Sometimes it refers to the soul, sometimes it refers to the mind, sometimes it refers to the body, right? So we need to understand the context. How do we understand the context? By asking our spiritual master, by asking our Siksha Gurus, what is the specific reference of this particular word in this particular context, right? So Atma Rama, here it refers to the supreme absolute truth, right? It refers to all of this, the supreme absolute truth, the body, the mind, the endeavor, the intelligence, conviction, and nature, right? Atma, right? In Bhagavad Gita, we've seen that it only refers to the 3 things. What is that? Body, mind, and what is that? Soul, right? So here, apart from that, it also refers to the intelligence, conviction, nature, and the supreme absolute truth. The supreme absolute truth is Paramatma, isn't it? So Atma in some places also refers to the supreme absolute truth. Then Atma Rama is Rama. Rama means enjoyer, right? That is why Rama, when we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra also, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna means all attractive one. Rama means the one who is the complete enjoyer of everything, right? And Hara means the internal pleasure potency of the Lord. Then there is Hara, like Prabhupada says, Hara, Krishna, and Rama are the transcendental seeds of the Mahamantra. Where Krishna means all attractive Lord, Rama means the supreme enjoyer, and Hara refers to Srimati Radharani, who is the internal pleasure potency of the Lord. So Rama means anyone who takes pleasure, right? Therefore, Atma Rama ideally would only refer to the Lord or his pure devotees. The Lord and his pure devotees are always together. One cannot separate the Lord and his pure devotees. Why? Because whenever the Lord is Atmaram, the Lord is always satisfied, the Lord is always blissful, right? The devotees are also, pure devotees of the Lord are also always blissful. Why? Because you're always engaged in the service of the Lord, and is always Susukam Kartum Avyayam. So the Lord and the transcendentalists are referred to as the Atmaramas, right? That's why it's given in the plural. It is not just the Lord, but also the pure devotees of the Lord are always in bliss. That's why they are called Atmaramas. Then Cha means also. right? Munayaha, the munis also. The munis, it is also applied to munis. Why? Because great munis and learned scholars, they are also like sober. They know when to talk, when not to talk, when to take up what kind of austerity, when to not take up austerities, etc. Right? They are all great mystics, learned scholars, etc. They are also Atmaramaha, provided they have the complete understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then Nirgrantha. Grantha means we know Grantha, like the book Bhagavatam is called the Grantha Bhagavatam, isn't it? So Grantha means book. Grantha means scriptural injunctions. Grantha means Srimad, we say Grantaraj, Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. It means the leader of all the books, or the best of all the books, or the king of all the books is Srimad Bhagavatam. So Grantha refers to books, spiritual scriptures, scriptural injunctions, right? Nir means like it's like akama sarva kama. That means means it's used as a prefix, which means negative. So similarly, nir grantha, nir actually refers to that which is prohibiting, that which has no connection, etc. So nir grantha means one who is misbehaved, one who is low born, one who is foolish, etc. Right? And nir grantha also means, grantha also refers to opulence, grantha also refers to riches, grantha also refers to abundance mentality, right? Nir grantha means one who is poor, one who is bereft of riches, right? One who is trying to attain riches, but as of now his riches are he does not have any riches, like that. So these are the first four words. Atma Ramascha Munayo Nirgrantha Api Urukrame. Let's continue reading. What does Urukrame mean? Let's go ahead. Let me share my screen again. Yeah. I hope the screen is visible. All right. So let's request Leelanandini Mataji. Go ahead. The word Urukrama is used to indicate.
Hare Krishna Mataji Dandat Pranam.
Hare
The
Krishna.
word Urukrama is used to indicate a highly powerful person. Since the word Krama is used to indicate the act of stepping, the word Urukrama also indicates one who can step forward very far. The greatest step forward was taken by Lord Vamanadeva, who covered the whole universe in 2 steps. The Supreme Lord Vamanadeva is also known as Lord Urukrama. This extraordinary feature of Lord Vamanadeva is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 7, verse 40. Vishnu no virya gananam kadamo nirta yaha prativana abhi kavir vimame rajamsi chakshambha yaha swaramha shashkaladhatri prashtam yasmatri samya sadanand urukrama urukamapayanam. No one can estimate the inconceivable potencies of Lord Sri Vishnu. Even if one could count the number of atomic combinations in this material world, he still could not count the different energies of the Supreme Lord. As Vamanadeva, the Lord was so powerful that simply by stepping forward, he covered the whole universe from Brahmaloka down to Patala Loka. The inconceivable energies of the Lord are spread throughout the creation. He is all-pervading, and by his energy, he sustains all planetary systems. Yet through his pleasure potency, he remains situated in his personal abode known as Goloka. By the explanation of his opulence, he is present in all the Vaikuntha planets as Narayana. By expanding his material energy, he creates innumerable universes with innumerable planets within them. Thus, no one can estimate the wonderful activities of the Supreme Lord, and therefore the Supreme Lord is known as Urukrama, the wonderful actor. In the Vishwa Pragasha dictionary, the word Krama is defined as an expert display of energies as well as stepping forward very quickly. The word Kurvanti means working for others. There is another word similar to this which is used when one's activities are done for one's personal sense gratification. But the word Kurvanti, Mataji, I can't see. The word Kurvanti is used when activities are performed for the satisfaction of the Supreme. Thus, in this verse, the word can only indicate the rendering of transcendental service to the Lord. The word Hetu means reason or cause. Generally, people are engaged in transcendental activities for 3 reasons. Some want material happiness, some want mystic perfection, and some want liberation from material bondage. As far as material enjoyment is concerned, there are so many varieties that one can enumerate them. No one can enumerate them. As far as perfections in mystic power are concerned, there are 18. And as far as types of liberation from material bondage are concerned, there are 5. The state of being where all these varieties of enjoyment are conspicuous by their absence is called ahituki. The ahituki qualification is especially mentioned because by the ahituki service of the Lord, one can achieve the favor of the Lord. The word bhakti can be used in 10 different ways. One of these is sadhana bhakti or occupational devotional service. The other 9 are varieties of prema bhakti, love of Godhead. Those who are situated in the neutral position attain perfection up to love of Godhead. Similarly, those who are situated in the relationship of master and servant attain love of Godhead to the stage of attachment. Those who are related in friendship attain love of God to the point of fraternity. Those who are in love with God as his parents are elevated to the point of transcendental emotion. But only those who are related with the Supreme in conjugal love can experience the highest of ecstasies. There are some of different meanings for the word bhakti. The Lord next explained the different meanings of idam buddha guna. Idam buddha indicates full transcendental pleasure, before which even the transcendental pleasure known as Brahmananda becomes like straw. In the Hari Bhakti Sudodaya, 14.36, a devotee says, Tvat Sakshat Karana Halada Vishnu Vishuddhabhi Sadasya me Sukhani Gospadhayante Brahmani Api Jagat Guru. O Lord, O Supreme, simply by understanding you or seeing you, we derive a pleasure so great that the pleasure of Brahmananda becomes insignificant. In other words, the pleasure derived by understanding Krishna as he is the all-attractive reservoir of all pleasures and the reservoir of all pleasure-giving tastes with all transcendental qualifications attracts one to become his devotee. By virtue of such attraction, one can give up fruitive activities and all endeavors for liberation, and can even abandon the intense desire to achieve mystic power through success in yoga. The attractive power of Krishna is so intense that one loses respect for all other means of self-realization and simply surrenders unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Next, the
Thank you,
Lord
Mother.
is... Thank you, Haribol.
Thank you
Thank you,
so much,
Haribol.
Mother.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
very,
Mother.
very interesting explanation of the next couple of words of the particular verse. Urukrama, right? We know Vamanadev is already called Urukrama. Why? Because in the first 2 steps, he covered the entire material world. And in the third step, he asked Bali Maharaj, right? Where should I keep my third step, right? So in this way, one who takes very, very fast steps and one who is taking long steps, right? Such a person is called Urukrama. And example here, Prabhupada himself says about Vamana Deva, right? Urukrama means the one who displays expert energies, right? Who can cover the entire material universe in one step, right? He was just a dwarf Brahmana. But then, since he is the Supreme Personality of God, and the Lord can come in any form. Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narasimha, Vamana, Parashurama, Rama, Balarama, Buddha, Kalki, etc., etc. So, whichever form the Lord may take, the Lord is the Lord. The Lord is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, when he came as Vamanadev, he could cover the entire material universe and the entire heavenly planets in 2 steps. So, Urukrama means one who displays an expert way of displaying his energies like that. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying Kurvanti, right? Kurvanti means to work for others. And what is the best kind of work? The best kind of work is Bhakti Yoga, where we work for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rishikena, Rishikesha Sevanam, Bhakti Ruchyate, right? And Rishikena, Rishikesha Sevanam means we perform an activity, right? But that activity is not for giving pleasure to ourselves. Right? When an activity is done to create pleasure for ourselves, it cannot create pleasure for us. Only when we do that activity for the pleasure of the Lord, then we can also experience satisfaction from doing the work for the pleasure of the Lord. Why? Because Mami Vamshu Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. We are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. When the Lord is satisfied, when the Lord is pleased, then automatically we will be satisfied. And then the next word is Hetu. Right? Hetu means for the benefit of someone, right? What is the reason why we want to do certain things, right? What is the reason why we are practicing devotional service? right? We want ahituki apratyata seva unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the reason why we practice devotional service. But here, people are engaged in transcendental activities for 3 reasons. Some want material happiness, right? We studied in that Bhagavatam verse. Akama sarva kamova moksha kamo daradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. The 3 kinds of people actually approach, 4 kinds of people actually approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here the reasons are classified into 3. One is, I want material happiness, right? I want to enjoy in this material world, and hence I am praying to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise, I want some kind of siddhis, right? I want to give some coins, I want to give some powder, I want name, fame, glory. I want people to, surround me and say and glorify me. Oh, you're so wonderful. You're creating so many coins and powders, etc. Right? Or the third is, some people want liberation from material bondage. That means what? Impersonal realization. They want to merge with the Brahman. Why? Because they don't want any kind of material problem. So they want to come to 0 point. Right? But the devotees, what do they want? They want to cross beyond 0. Because in 0, one cannot stay for long. Because we are Anandamaya Abhyasa. We want pleasure, we want happiness. We cannot stay in that 0 point for long. And we will definitely fall down from 0 to negative. Unless we aspire to go towards a positive. Because we will start experiencing bliss only when we have the positive access. That positive access is only in service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That positive access cannot be obtained even at the stage of Brahman. Right? That is what we understood. That impersonal realization, there is only Sat and Chit. There is no Ananda. And that is what the living entity is always craving for. I want Ananda. I want bliss. I want happiness. I want satisfaction. That is why I'm engaged in various activities. Kurvanti. Right? I'm engaging in various activities because I want to be happy. And how to become happy? How to become happy is by performing bhakti. The next word is bhakti. Bhakti can be referred to sadhana bhakti, or it can refer to prema bhakti. That prema bhakti, nectar of devotion, Rupa Goswami explains raganuga bhakti and ragatmika bhakti. Ragatmika bhakti is the bhakti of the eternally liberated souls, Nitya Siddhas, Yashodamaya, Srimati Radharani, Sridhama, Subhala, right? All the gopis of Vrindavan, they all have eternal love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and their love is Ragatmika Bhakti. That means that their love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead is innate from their heart. It is not covered by unnecessary lust, anger, greed, pride, and illusion. Their love is completely pure, and their love is so much that whatever position the Lord may put them in, they always want to engage in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those are the Ragatmika Bhaktas. On our end, we are all sadhana bhaktas. That means what? Oh, I have to chant 16 rounds. Some days we want to chant 16. Some days we don't want to chant 16 rounds. Yet we are chanting 16 rounds because our Guru has told us. Right? We've taken a vow. I will chant minimum 16 rounds. I will follow the 4 regulative principles. So why are we doing it? Because we promised our spiritual master. And because we know that it will yield us to a better destination. That is why we are practicing. So we are sadhana bhaktas, and in between them is raganuga bhaktas, right? As we are sadhana bhaktas, when we are very sincere, when we are very enthusiastic to perform our devotional service, when we avoid aparadas, Vaishnava aparad, seva aparad, right? When we avoid all the aparadas, then by the grace of the Lord, slowly we will progress to the next stage. It is raga anuga bhakta. Anuga means to follow. That means that's why we are called Rupa Anugas. We are followers of Rupa Goswami. So raga anuga means we become followers of the Ragatmika Bhaktas who have spontaneous love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that could be in various relationships. It could be Shanta Rasa, it could be Dasya Rasa, it could be Sakya Rasa, it could be Vatsalya Rasa, it could be Madhurya Rasa. Right? In the rasa of neutrality, in the rasa of servitude, in the rasa of friendship, in the rasa of parental, and in the rasa of conjugal love. Right? And all of these various emotions is experienced, and those are experienced by the Ragatmika Bhaktas. As we become Raganuga Bhaktas, we try to follow in the footsteps of the Ragatmika Bhaktas. When we try to fulfill in the following the footsteps of the Ragatmika Bhaktas, then we also get to a particular point where we also know our constitutional position as the servant of the Supreme Lord and what is our rasa in our Swarupa Siddhi, like they say, na Swarupena Vyavastitihi, right? What is my position as per my constitutional position in service to the Lord? Which rasa am I situated in, right? Right now, of course, we don't know. But then we know that what is the integral part of each of these rasas? Seva, right? Servitude is an essential part of all the rasas. And whatever be our relationship with the Lord, there is nothing like, only the people who have conjugal love, they only have love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that they only are enjoyers, they only are pure bhaktas. No, even if somebody like Hanumanji is in Dasyaras, right? Yet Hanumanji experiences the greatest rasa, even in servitude to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whatever be one's rasa, one is perfectly situated and Atmaram, and one is perfectly happy in his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So these are some of the different meanings of the word bhakti. It can refer to sadhana bhakti, it can refer to raganuga bhakti, it can refer to ragatmika bhakti. Then next, what is the Lord explaining? Ittam bhuta guna. What is ittam bhuta? Ittam bhuta means transcendental pleasure. Ittam bhuta guna, right? That means the transcendental pleasure of association with the Lord, of service to the Lord. It is much, much higher as compared to Brahmananda. What is Brahmananda? Brahmananda means merging with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Brahma bhuta prasannatma na shochati na kankshati samas sarveshu bhuteshu madbhakti labate brahm. Right? It is a position of no hankering, no lamentation. That is again, like we described, it is the point of zero, where there are no hankering, there is no lamentation, but there is also no bliss. Right? That is why devotees are not interested. What is Ittam Bhuta? Ittam Bhuta is a transcendental pleasure known as Brahmananda, but even that Brahmananda becomes zero. Right? It becomes like a straw in front of Bhakti Suddhodaya. What is Bhakti Suddhodaya? Bhakti Suddhodaya is a pleasure derived by serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. Bhakti Shuddhodaya is, in comparison to Bhakti Shuddhodaya, Brahmananda becomes like a straw. Otherwise, Brahmananda is a very elevated platform, right? Right now, we cannot say, just because we are aspiring for Bhakti, it does not mean that we have crossed Brahmananda. Even now, we are hankering, we are lamenting for lost things, we want to attain a better job, we want to get better salary, we want to get, we want to have name, fame, glory, what not, right? So, we are hankering and lamenting. So, currently, as sadhana bhaktas, we have not reached the Brahmananda level. But we have the potential to go beyond Brahmananda level, provided we chant Hare Krishna, we follow devotional service under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. We hear Bhagavatam, we hear Bhagavad Gita, we follow the ABCD principle given by Srila Prabhupada. In this way, we have the potential to cross over Brahmananda and reach the stage of Bhakti Suddhodaya. Right? But then at that level, one will lose the taste for Brahmananda, because it is tuchya, it is so insignificant when we experience Bhakti Shuddhodaya. And even one abandons the desire of siddhis, right? What is the use of producing coins and giving vibhuti, right? For producing all of these things when we already reached a higher stage, right? A person who has 2 lakh rupees, he will say, "Arey, 2 rupees, 20 rupees, 200 rupees, 2000 rupees, tuchya, right? I have much, much more money, isn't it?" So in terms of the wealth of Krishna Prema, the higher we get, we lose taste for all the lower things, right? Param drishtva nivartate. As we get a higher taste, we will lose the taste for mystic siddhis, for our fulfillment of the materialistic desires, even up to the point of attaining Brahmananda. Because Bhakti Shuddhodaya, the pleasure of performing devotional service to the Lord, surrendering to the Supreme Personality of God, is so much more greater that the Brahmananda becomes tuchya. And what to speak of jada, material happiness, right? Material happiness and mystic power, mystic siddhis, they become so tuchya that even liberation becomes tuchya, like that. Okay, let's move forward. Guna, that is being explained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu now. Okay, Leelanandana Mataji read. Vrishabhanu Kanya Mataji, go ahead, please read. Next, the Lord explained the word guna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Yes.
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavats Mataji, go ahead.
Next, the Lord explained the word guna. In the Atmarama verse, guna indicate indicate the unlimited transcendental qualities of Krishna, primarily those pertaining to his Sakshit Ananda, Sachit Ananda. In this, in his transcendental blissful knowledge and eternity, he is fully perfect, and his perfection is increased when he is controlled by the attention of his devotee. God is so kind and merciful that he gives himself in exchange for the devotional service of the devotee. His transcendental qualities are such that his perfect beauty, his perfect reciprocation of love between himself and his devotees, and the fragrance of his transcendental qualities attract different kinds of transcendentalist and liberated souls. For example, Krishna attracted the mind of Sanaka and the other Kumaras simply by the aroma emanating from the flowers offered to him. And he attracted the mind of Sukdev Goswami by his transcendental pastimes. The mind of the damsels of Vrindavana were attracted by his personal beauty. Rukmani's attention was attracted by his bodily features and the transcendental quality, and the mind of goddess of fortune was attracted by his flute playing and other transcendental features. In this way, Lord Krishna attracts the mind of all young girls. He also attracts the mind of elderly ladies by his childlike activities, and the mind of
his friends by his friendly activities.
And the mind of his by his friendly activities. When he appeared in Vrindavan, he even attracted the birds, fish, trees, and plants. Indeed, everyone became attracted in love and attraction for Krishna. The word Hare was different meaning, of which two are principal. The name Hare indicates that Krishna takes away all inauspicious things from the devotee's life, and he attracts the mind of the devotee by avoiding his transcendental love of Godhead. Krishna is so attractive that anyone who can somehow or other remember him becomes freed from the four kinds of material miseries. The Lord gives special attention to his devotee and banishes the devotee's various sinful activities, which are stumbling blocks for the advancement of devotional service. This is called rooting the influence of ignorance. Simply by hearing about him, one develops love for him. That is the gift of the Lord. On one side, he takes away inauspicious things, and on the other side, he avoids the most auspicious things. That is the meaning of Hare. When a person is developed in love of Godhead, his body, mind, and everything else are attracted by the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Such is the power of Krishna's merciful activities and transcendental qualities. He is so attractive that out of transcendental attachment to him, a devotee will give up all four principles of material success: religiosity, economic development, regulated sense and gratification, and salvation. The word api.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yeah, so very, very beautiful here. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was explaining to Sanatana Goswami that the understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is so wonderful that one actually gives up dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Right? One considers that tuchya because the bhakti shuddhodaya, the bliss that is felt by rendering devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, when that is experienced, then all of the other pleasures of this world, including liberation, becomes tuchya. So that is what is explained here by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami. So how does he explain it? That the Lord gives special attention to his devotee. Somebody who is eager to serve the Lord, like we said in Bhagavad Gita also, Mata Smritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha. The Lord will give us intelligence, the resources, and everything else, so that we can fulfill our desire to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? Kshipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat shantim nigacchati. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhaktah pranashyati. Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, even if a person has committed sins, he quickly becomes a saintly person. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat shantir nigacchati. Kaunteya pratijanihi. O Kaunteya, O Arjuna, you declare that my devotee never perishes. So in this way, when one actually cuts out the knots of all the sinful reactions, continues to practice devotional service, then his body, his mind, and everything. Like yesterday only we were hearing, right, how Rukmini Devi got attracted to Krishna simply by hearing about the Lord from a Brahmana. Right? And in this way, simply by the process of hearing, we will also develop our love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We also saw how Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, Manasa Deho Geho Jo Kichu More Arpilu Tuva Pade Nanda Kishore. Whatever I have, right? Manasa, mind, Deho, body, Geho, wealth, Jo Kichu More, whatever else I have, Arpilu Tuva Pade Nanda Kishore. I'm offering it to the lotus feet of the Lord because I'm only attracted by performing, I'm only attracted to the beautiful form of the Lord. I want to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I'm not interested in the dharma, the artha, the kama, or the moksha. Dharma is just following the Vedas and doing acting according to regulative principles. Artha means desiring wealth, desiring name, fame, glory. Kama means sensual. What is that? Sense gratification. Right? We get what? Why do we want a lot of wealth? Because we want to enjoy our senses. We want to have nice palatable foodstuffs. We want to go for holiday to some exotic locations, for which we need a lot of wealth. That is what is kama. And moksha is the highest level of sense gratification, because we want to relieve ourselves of all the miseries, and we want to be completely happy, or at least we want to be in a position where there is no misery. Right? And that place is a very nice place to be, but then one cannot sustain in that place for a long time. Why? Because there is no bliss at this particular position. Right? That's what we said. It's zero access. Okay. Monimala Mataji, go ahead. The word api and cha are adverbs. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Pranam. And or adverb and can be adverb and can be used for virtually any purpose. The word go or land can render
cha.
Seven.
Word cha or and can render 7 different readings to the whole construction.
Readings to the.
This is Sanskrit grammar.
Different, yes, Mataji. Different readings to the whole construction. The Lord thus established the import of the 11 words in the Atma Rama verse, and he began to further explain the verse as follows. The word as Brahmana. Brahmana means the greater. Brahman means the greater in all respects. The Lord is greatest in all opulence. No one can excel him in wealth, or no one can excel him in strength, nor one can excel him in fame, nor one can excel him in beauty, nor one can excel him in knowledge, and no one can excel him in renunciation. Thus, the word Brahman actually indicate the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna in the Vishnu Purana 12.57, the word Brahman is said to indicate the greatest of all, the Supreme Lord, who is the greatest expanse with no limit. One may conceive of Brahmana's greatness, yet this greatness grows in such a way that no one can estimate how great he actually is. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is realized in 3 aspects, but they are all one and the same. The absolute truth, the Supreme Personality, Krishna, is everlasting in Srimad Bhagavatam 2.9.33. It is said that he exists before the manifestation of this cosmic world, that he exists during its during its Mataji, something is
Continuation.
Continuation, but continuation,
He
and
exists.
that
Yeah.
he continues to exist after his annihilation. Therefore, he is the great soul of
Everything.
I can see
Therefore, he's a great soul. He is the great soul of everything. He is all pervading,
and all witnessing, and he is the supreme form of everything. There are three different kinds of transcendental processes mentioned in the Vedic literature by which one can understand and achieve that supreme perfection of the absolute truth. They are the process of knowledge and process of myths, yoga, and he of devotional service. The followers of these three processes realize the absolute truth is three different aspects. Those who follow the process of knowledge realize him impersonal Brahman. Those who follow the process of yoga realize him as the
localized super soul.
Super soul, and those who follow the process of devotional service realize him is supreme personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. In other words, although the word Brahman indicates Krishna and nothing else, still according to the process that is followed, the Lord is realized in three different aspects.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. So
Thanks.
the Lord is, we've studied in Bhagavatam also this, several times we've discussed this, right? Brahman may refer to the living entity, Brahman may refer to Parabrahman, the Supreme Personality of Godhead also, right? But then here, when we are talking about Brahman, we are talking about absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that also, Brahman, we are not talking about the light, right? We've established here that Brahman is the lowest form of realization. Higher than that is the realization of Paramatma, or the Lord being present as a super soul in the hearts of all of the living entities, right? So that is a higher level realization. But the highest level of realization is understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna as Shama Sundar Bhagavan, right? Whom we can render service, whom we can play with, whom we can see, whom we can offer bhoga, right? Whom we can engage in so many wonderful pastimes, who can dance with the gopis, who accepts the bhoga of the Brahmana's wives. So in this way, there is loving reciprocation between the personality of Godhead, who is Krishna, and that level of realization is the highest, right? Vadanti tattva vidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdyate. So the Lord is realized in three different transcendental features by which he can be completely understood, right? Of course, the Brahman realization is understanding of the partial feature of the Lord. A little more understanding is understanding that the Lord who is Brahman, who is effulgence, right? That it's from his body that this effulgence is coming out. And then understanding that he is also the Lord in my heart. And then finally, the highest level of understanding is understanding that the Lord is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is eternally Goloke eva nivasati akilatma bhuto govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. He is eternally situated in Goloka Vrindavan Dham. At the same time, he is situated as Paramatma in everyone's heart. At the same time, the effulgence from his body. That's why it said, Natat bhasheti suryo na shashanko na pavakaha yad gatvana nivartante tad dhamma paramam mama. In the spiritual world, there is no need for a sun or a moon. Why? Because the Lord's body only emanates such effulgence, right? Which we call as the Brahman, right? So in this way, in the spiritual world, there is no need for a sun or a moon, right? So the Lord's effulgence is only Brahman. And then the Lord being situated in everyone's heart is only the Paramatma feature. And the Lord being always situated in Golokadam at the same time who expands himself into the Archa Vigraha form in this material world and into various avatars and who descends primarily to attract the conditioned souls back home, back to Godhead. That is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the origin or the source of all of these avatars is Krishna himself. Ekya Ishvara Krishna Aura Sabha Britya. Right? Etecham Shakalapumsha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mrdayanti Yuge Yuge. Krishna takes so many incarnations in so many yugas. But Etecham Shakalapumsha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. He is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, let's move ahead. What is the time? Okay, we'll end at 1:45. Okay, let's see how much we can complete. Let's request Rajneesh Prabhu. Go ahead. As far, oh, I think you already read, right, Prabhu?
I have not read.
Oh, okay, okay. Go ahead, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Pranam. Yes.
As far as devotional service is concerned, there are two divisions in the beginning. There is Vidhi Bhakti or devotional service with regulative principles in higher stage. In the higher stage, yes, Raga Bhakti or devotional service is Yotra. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is absolute truth, is the absolute truth, but he is manifested by the acceptance of his different energies also. Those who follow the regulative principles of devotional service ultimately attain to vacant planets in the spiritual world. But one who follows the principles of love in devotional service attains to supreme abode, the highest planet in spiritual world known as Krishna Loka or Goloka Vrindavan. Transcendentalists can also be divided into three categories. The word akama refers to one who does not have any material desires. Moksha kama refers to one who seeks separation from material needs, and sarva kama refers to one who wants to enjoy by fulfilling material desires. Most important, this gives up all the processes and engages in the devotional service of the Lord, even though he may have different desires. Through no kind of activity, where whether whether fruitive whether fruitive action or cultivation of knowledge or cultivation of mystic yoga, can a person achieve the highest perfection without adding a ping of yoga? Except for devotional service, all transcendental processes are just like nipples on the neck of a goat. The nipples on goat's neck may be squeezed, but they don't supply milk. Therefore, if one is to desire actual perfection from the process, he must take into devotional service of Hare.
The Bhagavad Gita.
In the Bhagavad Gita 7.16, Lord Krishna states, Chaturvidha
Vidha bhajante mam jana sukritino arjuna arto jignasur jnani cha bhartarshabha.
O best of Bharata's four kinds of people with very righteous background take up devotional service to me. They are the distressed, the inquisitive, the seekers of material profit, and Yunanis or wise men. Out of these four, those who are distressed and those who desire wealth are called Sakama devotees, devotees with material desires, whereas the other two, the inquisitive and the searcher for wisdom, are Moksha Kama devotees, seekers of liberation. Because they all worship Krishna, they are all considered to be very fortunate. In due course of time, if they give up all desires and become pure devotees of Lord, they can be considered most fortunate. Such fortunate beginners can develop only in the association of pure devotees of Lord. Krishna. When one associates with pure devotees, he becomes a pure devotee himself. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.10.7. Satsangan Mukta
आतुं
Mukta
नोत्सहते कीर्त्यमानं यशो यस्य सकृत् आकृण्यरोचनम्.
Sakra Karma. The person who is actually intelligent is able, by the association of your devotees, to hear the descriptions of Lord Krishna and his activities. These activities are so attractive that one who hears of them does not wish to give up such association with the Lord. Except for the association of pure devotees, all
Thank you, Prabhu. Haribol. Yeah. So we will just discuss this. Satsangan mukta dussango. Mukta means to get, to get away from bad association. And satsangan is to be in the association of devotees. What happens by association of devotees? One becomes eager to hear descriptions of the Lord and his activities. Machitta madgata prana. Bodhayanta parasparam. Kathayantasya mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, this is what the devotees do. Chitta, always remembering the Lord. Madgata prana, always they know that the Lord is there. The Lord is their Lord, right? Lord Krishna is their Lord and their, the controller of all their activities. Whose activities they want to discuss. Chitta madgata prana, the Lord is their life, right? Bodhayanta parasparam, kathayantasya mam nityam. They like to enlighten each other about the pastimes of the Lord. They like to discuss the pastimes of the Lord. Kathayantasya mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. They delight in actually discussing the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They delight and they tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Ramanti means they enjoy discussing the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So these are the characteristics of devotees. So that is what is mentioned here also. Satsangan, right? Anyone who performs, anyone who's in the association of devotees, what does he do? Kirtyamanam yasho yasya sakrit akranya rochanam. Such person develops attraction to hear about the messages of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the power of association. The other day also we were discussing, right? We are the average of the 5 people whom we continuously interact with, right? If you interact with people who are who are sakama bhaktas for some reason, like they are seekers of material profit, they want they want to get relieved of all the distress. What happens? We also become sakama bhaktas in their association. Moksha kama udara, these are those jnanis and those who are inquisitive. That means to inquire why good things happen to bad people, why bad things happen to good people. And then slowly but surely they will reach the process of devotional service because they are inquiring submissively. They're trying to understand why certain things don't work and why devotional service is the highest. And when they reach the process of devotional service, they experience actual bliss. Very beautifully, Prabhupada gives the analogy, right? The nipples on the goat, right? They don't give milk, right? Just like that, all of our endeavors to attain happiness by mystic yogi, by becoming a sadha, by what do you call siddhi, right? To acquire the siddhis, to become bigger than the biggest, smaller than the smallest, to get all these powders and coins, etc., right? That will not give bliss, right? And then again our desire to get all of our material desires fulfilled, that will also not give us bliss. And similarly, even liberation or merging with the Brahman, even that will not give us bliss. Just like the nipples on the goat will not produce milk. Similarly, all of these achievements will not give us bliss. What can give us bliss? Only devotional service. Only bhakti can give us bhakti, or devotional service can give us bliss. And that bhakti can be practiced only in the association of devotees. That's the moral. That's the purport of this. Okay. So should we continue or once again, let me see. Okay, we just have 3-4 paragraphs, and we also have devotees who have raised their hands. Okay, let's quickly complete it. Devotees who have other classes may choose to leave, and you can catch it up on YouTube. Right, it's your choice. All right. So let's quickly move forward. Except for the association of devotees, let's ask Sudha Mataji. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam. Except for the association of pure devotees, all association is kaitava or cheating. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.2, which states, All cheating processes which obstruct transcendental realization are to be thrown off. By Srimad Bhagavatam, one can understand reality as it is, and such understanding helps one transcend the three kinds of material miseries. Srimad Bhagavatam was compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva, and it is a work coming out of his mature experience. By understanding Srimad Bhagavatam and rendering devotional service, one can immediately capture the Supreme Lord within his heart. Lord Chaitanya then explained that the word Bhojhita in this Bhagavatam verse refers to the desire for liberation. One great commentator explained that desire for liberation is the most obstructive stumbling block on the path of God realization. But if one somehow or the other comes to Krishna and begins to hear about him, Krishna is so kind that he awards him his lotus feet as a shelter. Then the devotee or transcendentalist forgets everything and engages in the devotional service of the Lord. When one comes to the Lord in devotional service or in full Krishna consciousness, the reward is the Supreme Himself. Once engaged for the Supreme, one no longer asks for anything as to the distressed man and he who desires material possessions. The association of pure devotees, the causeless mercy of the Lord, and devotional service itself, these three act so wonderfully that one can give up all other activities and become absorbed in Krishna, whether one is distressed in want of material possessions or inquisitive, or even if one is a wise man cultivating knowledge. In summary, Krishna is the meaning behind all the words in the Atmarama verse. Up to this point, Lord Chaitanya spoke only of the introduction to the Atmarama verse. Next, he explained its real position. There are two kinds of transcendentalists who cultivate knowledge. One of them worships the impersonal Brahman and the other desires liberation. The Brahman worshippers or monists are further divided into three categories. The neophyte, one who is absorbed in Brahman realization, and one who has actually realized himself as Brahman. If devotional service is added, the knower of Brahman can then become liberated. Otherwise, there is no possibility of liberation. Anyone who is fully engaged in devotional service in Krishna consciousness is understood to be already realized in Brahman. Devotional service is so strong that one is attracted to Krishna even from the platform of Brahman worship. The Lord awards the devotee the perfection of his spiritual body, and the devotee engages in the transcendental service of Krishna. It is when the devotee understands and becomes attracted by Krishna's transcendental qualities that he wholeheartedly engages in devotional service. For instance, the four Kumaras and Shukdev Goswami were liberated from the beginning of their lives. Yet in their later life, they became attracted to the pastimes of Krishna and became devotees. Sanaka and the other Kumaras were attracted by the aroma of the flowers offered to Krishna and by his transcendental qualities, and thus they engaged in his devotional service. Similarly, the 9 mystics mentioned in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam are understood to have been transcendentalists from birth, but they became devotees of the Lord by virtue of hearing the transcendental qualities of Krishna from Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Narada. Sometimes one becomes attracted to Krishna and his transcendental qualities simply by looking upon the beautiful features of his transcendental body. In this case also, one abandons the desire for liberation and engages in his devotional service. The devotee repents his loss of time in the so-called cultivation of knowledge and becomes a pure devotee of the Lord. There are two kinds of souls who are liberated even while in material bodies. The soul liberated by devotional service and the soul liberated by the cultivation of knowledge. The liberated soul in devotional service, attracted by the transcendental qualities of Krishna, becomes more and more elevated, whereas those who engage in dry speculation and simply cultivate knowledge without devotion fall on account of their many offenses. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam, where it is stated. Mataji, should I stop here?
ये अन्ये अरविन्दाक्ष विमुक्तमानिनस् त्वय्यस्त विशुद्धबुद्धयः आरुह्य कृच्छ्रेण परं पदं ततः पतन्त्यदो नाधृतयुष्मदङ्ग्रयः. O Lord, the intelligence of those who think themselves liberated but who are without even a touch of devotional service is not pure. Even though they rise to the highest point of liberation by dint of severe penances and austerity, they are sure to fall down again into this material existence, for they do not take shelter at your lotus feet. And then Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. Samas sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhakti labate param. right? So all these verses are indicating to us that is Brahma Ananda, that is the bliss of merging into the Brahman, right? It is not actually bliss, right? It is only a zero axis wherein there is no pain, right? That we discussed several times, right? That this kind of Brahmananda can never give us happiness. It can only lead to a place or a position where there is no misery, right? In that situation, there cannot be bliss, right? That's why so many verses have been quoted from Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. And what do these all indicate? They all indicate that when we cultivate knowledge, right? Of course, we are cultivating knowledge now. When we're studying teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Bhagavad Gita, etc., we are cultivating knowledge. But this knowledge is enabling us to advance in bhakti, right? This jnana is helping us advance in bhakti. We are not interested in memorizing all the verses without knowing the meaning, right? When we memorize the verse also, because the uttering of the shlokas in itself is purifying, but to implement the particular verse of the Bhagavad Gita or the Bhagavatam, understanding the purport, living by the principles of the Bhagavad Gita, that is more important than simply ratta marifying without having an intention to live by the principles of Bhagavad Gita. That is why those who even reach the Brahman platform are subject to fall down, because they don't take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, and because they don't take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, they can never experience bliss. Okay, the last section we can ask our Moshmi Mataji. Go ahead. Brahmabhuta prasannatma न शोचति न कांक्षति सम सर्वेषु भूतेषु मद भक्तिं लभते पराम. Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. One who is actually situated in Brahman realization. Just 1 minute. Situated in Brahman realization. Realization is fully joyful, has no reason to lament or desire anything, and is equal to everyone. Thus, he is eligible for pure devotional service. This was illustrated by Bilvan Mangala Thakur, who is his latter life wrote, I was situated as a monist in order to become one with the Supreme, but somehow or other I contacted a naughty boy and became his eternal servitor. In other words, those who attain self-realization by execution of devotional service attain transcendental body and being attracted to the transcendental qualities of Krishna, engage fully in pure devotional service. Anyone who is not attracted to Krishna is understood to be still under the spell of Maya. But one who is attempting to be liberated by the process of devotional service is actually liberated from the spell. In the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there are many instances recorded of devotees who become liberated in the life simply by engaging in devotional service. Hare Krishna Mataji. No sound.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute because some disturbance of sound was coming. Okay, sorry. So with this, we come to the end of chapter 15 of Teachings of Lord Chaitanya on the explanation of Atma Rama verse by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami, explaining the glory of devotional service, right? Anya Abhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavratam Anukuliyena Krishna Anushilanam Bhakti Ruttama. That's the highest form of devotional service, is to render service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead Such service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted in order to completely satisfy the self. And that is complete satisfaction of self. And that is Atma Rama. That is why the Lord is Atma Rama and his pure devotees are also Atma Ramas. So with this, we come to the end of today's session. We almost reached 2 o'clock. We'll quickly do Harinam Sankirtan. Devotees can switch on your cameras at the end of it. Anyone wants to share anything, share any realizations, or ask any queries, then you may raise your hand and then we can ask you. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaudavani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Akshatyadishatharine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Gaura Nitai Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadrama Jaya Sudarshana Jaya Balagopal Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radhe Radhe Jaya Radha Madhav Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Jai Radha Gopinath Shri Radhe Jai Radhe Jayo Radhe Jayo Radhe Jayo Shri Radhe Jaya Guru Parampara Jaya Sadgoswami Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Guru Deva Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Ananta Guru Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams to all. Okay, so no hands up. So thank you very much. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, teaching of Lord Chaitanya ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. So we meet tomorrow morning 5 o'clock for our Brahma Muhurta chanting session, and then we meet at 12:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Tomorrow is Wednesday. We start with our Bhagavad Gita series from tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then we'll be back on Monday for the study of teaching of Lord Chaitanya, chapter number 16, for the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. So I'm able to see Shobha Mataji, Sridhar Prabhu, Karpagavali Mataji, Maushmi Mataji, Rajanish Prabhu, Harjeet Mataji with her little child, Hema Mataji, Vijayalakshmi Priya Mataji, Monimala Mataji, Sarva Gopeshwari Mataji, Sneha Prabha Mataji, Leela Nandini Rukmini Mataji, and all the devotees. Thank you very much for joining in. Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Okay, so we are running out of time. So I would request devotees, you can put your queries, to me on my WhatsApp group. On my WhatsApp personal chat, and then I'll take it up. All right. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, Mansi Mataji, thank you. Dandavat Pranam. Srila Prabhupada.